First time I do this column at Wizard called Bendis Presents, where we do kind of in-depth interviews. This is that column, but we're doing it live. So this is being filmed and recorded for wizardworld.com. It's going to be transcribed, so you will be part of the show.
So that is scream random things out, and then
yeah, just holler.
That was me.
Yes. The good news is, and here's the reason we want to do this one particular live, is that these two gentlemen who I'm going to introduce are two of my best friends in the world. They're my family. We've been working together for years and years and years, and it would be kind of douchey for me to pretend to ask like questions because I know all the answers to the questions that you would ask these guys. I know stuff about them I wish I didn't know. So to ask the question and then really, I know the answer to two things. I hit the message boards, and I had the message board and MySpace people give their questions, which I have written down here. And then we're going to go out to you guys and have you ask the questions that you guys want to know, because you legitimately want to hear the answers and don't know the answers. So you will get up, say your name. Ooh, this is moving. Watch me fall off the stage, and
I'll save you.
Say your name very clearly, so you get it printed in Wizard, and that's very exciting. And then say your question. All right, the two gentlemen on my left, David Mack and Mike Oeming. I actually met Mike Oeming here in Philadelphia years and years ago at a shop that no longer exists called Claude's Comics. Right? It doesn't exist anymore, right? Yeah. Philadelphia people, nothing. Okay. So, but we met and we bonded instantly. I was doing Jinx, David was doing Kabuki, and Mike was doing a Ship of Fools for Caliber.
I don't think I was doing Ship yet. I was doing like Judge Dredd or Foot Soldiers.
Yeah, Foot Soldiers. Yeah, that's it. And he was inventing a new style for his artwork. He had a bunch of different styles available to him, and he's working on a more kind of an animated, kind of noir look. You know, little Bruce Timm, little Alex Toth, and he was developing the style, and he decided to do pinups of both Jinx and Kabuki in this style. And I remember he faxed it over with not even a note, and I got so excited that literally Powers was born that day, because I said, I'm working with this guy, this is what we're doing, the comic book should look like this, I want to write a book that looks like this, and I can't do it. And that's the day that we first hooked up.
Yeah, totally hooked up, dude.
David Mack, totally hooked up. Since then, Mike has gone on to co-create Powers. He's the writer of Red Sonja, Omega Flight. He's co-created or written or drawn 6 Wings of Ashkenazi. Think of whatever. And what else you got going?
Ares.
Mike's Templar, Ares.
Yeah. Thor, got to kill Thor.
He killed Thor.
And sort of bring back Alpha Flight, who you killed.
Yes.
I undid all your work.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, does this being picked up on? Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
really talk.
You gotta say. David Mack, I met in Chicago in the early '90s at Chicago Con, and he was just starting Kabuki. You were working on Happy the Clown, right?
It was even before that.
Was it for Happy the Clown?
Before that.
And
I won't mention the stuff that it was, but yeah, it was pre that.
It was a young Dracula.
Yeah, and you were looking for an inker, penciling stuff.
Yes, my inking sucked, and you were a great artist. And I remember you took one of my. This is how we met. We were behind the booth at Caliber, and he had taken one of my pages and showed me how my line that I had chosen for my inking was incorrect, and in one swoosh of the pen completely changed my artistic life, like forever. Because I was in this Guy Davis, Vince Locke, and I'm going to overwork the pen. You know, I don't know how to ink, so I'll over ink it. That's what I was doing, and you just went, and I went, oh fuck, screwed up my whole life. And literally my drawing style from Goldfish on was completely altered because we had met. And we really bonded, and I know this will be hard to believe, and in a moment of insanity, he was just creating Kabuki, and he asked me to pencil it. Can you imagine what a disaster that book would have been?
Yeah, that was the plan. I was just gonna write it, and I go in these conventions looking for an artist for it.
That would have been the worst decision in independent comics ever. Since Terry Moore did that book for Rob Liefeld, that would have been the worst thing ever. So, but gladly, I was sober enough to realize that Kabuki was too important for David not to draw it himself, and I did tell you that. I said, no, this is your book.
That's true.
And David has gone on to do one of the longest runs in independent comics on Kabuki, a book that has evolved with David as he has changed formats and art
You
mediums.
started that in college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like your college project or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
you got your thesis in writing. Well, I turned it in for every class I've possibly turned it for.
No. And what's fascinating to me about Kabuki is that as David has evolved as a human being, as an artist, the book just goes with him. And it has gone from kind of a John Woo action.
From Spazzy David to...
No, it's gone from a revenge-themed thriller to an artistic. It's almost like an epic poem more than it is a comic book. And it's very unique. There's not a comic book out there that's evolved as much as Kabuki has. And over the course of that time, David, of course, had, went to Marvel and did Daredevil with Joe Quesada. He got Joe Quesada to read my work, got me a job, which is, so you can blame him. And
The lecture's your fault by proxy now.
yeah, and now David and I are co-writing Daredevil for Daredevil the End or End of Days or whatever we'll call it.
Right, yeah, and something you're not mentioning is your very first Marvel project was that Daredevil script Wake Up that they gave you.
That's right.
And what he's skipping is between when we met, we did a lot of work together to pay the bills and to learn stuff. With him as a penciler and he as his inker. So we worked on all kinds of nonsense, some of which we actually got paid for. And then it was such a great, a great thing to be able to do this Daredevil book where both of us were able to really put something into a book that we could really control and make our own and do something sort of...
No, what you're saying is we did a lot of books that really sucked. That was so very embarrassing. And every time we really embarrassed ourselves, we did it together. And it was really shocking because individually we were, feeling really good about it. And when we talk about it, we feel really good about it.
That's how I look at it.
Every time we gather to create, it was flax in the comic book. It was terrible. So we were grateful to have the Daredevil opportunity. At least once in our lives, we made one that didn't suck. So at least we did that. So, all right. So that's how I know these guys, and that's who they are. I think they're two brilliant comic book artists and writers, and I don't use that term loosely at all. And I'm very glad we can do this today. So I'm gonna throw out a couple questions to start, and this is for David.
If you could be any kind of tree.
No, I'm skipping. I'm going down those. I'm skipping them. Hypothetically, if you could work with any new creators out there right now, who would they be?
Any new creators?
And I know there's one you are working with, so it's kind of a loaded question.
Brand new creator. Like how new is new? Can you tell me that?
Younger than us.
Oh, I like Paul as a sadist. Mark. I like his stuff. Another up-and-coming guy I like is a guy named Dash Shaw, whose work is, he does a book called Mother's Milk and some other stuff, really interesting stuff. There's a bunch of really cool people that I've seen, but I don't know if a lot of them are new right now. But Paul's pretty new.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's good. That's a good answer.